Hi everyone, this is Harshvardhan Tiwari. I'm the project lead at Project Maverick at Lawsikho. The idea is the idea of this project is to provide free test prep assistance to the kids across the country. The platform is online, so as to ensure that everybody across the country has access to the best test prep preparation. In that endeavor, we have today Mr. Sanket Khandelwal, who has secured AIR 77 in BLAT 2018. Sanket, in this today's session, will tell us how we can start our preparation for BHU law entrance examination, what is the pattern for the examination, how to approach the exam, what to do, what not to do for the exam, how is BHU actually for doing law, and many other questions. Sanket, over to you.
Hello, sir, and hello to
Yes.
all attendees. I'm Sanket. I'm from Varanasi. I attempted BLAT 2018, and my All India rank in BLAT 2018 was 77. I also attempted SLAT. My SLAT 2018 score was 124. I also attempted CLAT 2019 and had an AIR of 661. And right now I'm in Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia National University. So today I'll be talking about BHU law admission test. All the fuss around it as to that people that there's a particular notion that only people who are good at static GK, people who are good at history, perhaps geography or civics, only those individuals, that exclusive category can make it to BHU law school. I'll try to address that and also tell you a particular approach which worked for me when I gave my when I gave that, and you can use that. The approach that I'm going to tell you today can be used to other law entrance examinations as well, because all the law entrance examinations follow a set pattern of questions, and a singular smart approach can work in all of them. Saying that, today's session will be entirely based on that, and I'll try to address all your queries and how to go about it. And I've attended quite a few Lawsikho webinars for the past 2 months. It is the first time that I'm taking one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this experience, and I hope that you all get a valuable insight into BLAT and all other law entrance examinations.
Okay, Sanket. So now, once you have introduced yourself to us, uh, can you tell us what is the pattern of the exam? What is the pattern of the exam, BLAT?
So BLAT is basically a boiled down version of previous version of CLAT, the CLAT that you had to give is last year. All sections remain the same, just that the difficulty level always lies on the lower side for BLAT. The exam conducting authorities don't really try to experiment with the questions or experiment with the pattern. There's a set pattern and a set difficulty level that confronts all the candidates almost every year. So when we see SLAT, I hope whoever is watching this particular session has been preparing for an year, or perhaps for 6 months at whatever point of time you started your preparation, does in fact is well acquainted with the fact that even CLAT has a particular set of fundamental questions which it rephrases or perhaps increases its difficulty level or decreases its difficulty level, but it doesn't venture out of those particular set of questions. You have to study within a particular circumcised boundary, and that way you can easily ace CLAT. Same is the case with BHU law admission test. Just that the particular set of fundamental questions shrinks a lot more in case of BHU. The question paper pattern also tends to be monotonous. They don't experiment with the question, as I said, and when they if you go through their previous question papers, you will realize that not only do they repeat a questions a lot of times, but they also fail to they also refrain from rephrasing their questions for example, if there's a particular question in 2016 that came in, if there's a particular question in 2016 in BLAT, then they'll repeat the same question in 2020 without changing its language, and if it's a question of math, they'll not even change the value. They'll repeat the same question as it is and present it to you. So this increases the importance of attempting BLAT past year questions twofold. You have to have all the question papers of BLAT by now with yourself, and you have to attempt them at least twice. And not only to get the whiff of the pattern, not only to understand what kind of questions you are going to be confronted with, but also to memorize the questions in, say, GK section, because they repeat a question quite a lot of times. And it's so when we given if a particular, for example, people say that history, I'm not that good at history, or perhaps geography, or any liberal arts subject, that I cannot make it to BHL law admission, cannot make it through BHL law admission test. I'll take my own example. I'm a PCMB student. I'm pretty bad at, say, any liberal arts subjects. I do not like history. I have never liked geography, but I attempted all their previous year question papers right from 2014 when BHU's first 5-year law started back in 2014, and that's the first question paper that you'll get on their website. I attempted all their paper and all their previous year question papers, and when I sat for BLAT 2018, if say there were 20 odd questions related to static, I already knew answers to 11 to 12 questions just on seeing the first word of the question itself, because the question was repeated as it is. Not even the language was changed. They didn't try any kind of experimentation, and thus that's the advantage that attempting previous year question paper that will provide to you. And the year that is 2018, when I attempted BLAT BHU law admission test, I also attempted BHU's Faculty of Arts and Faculty of Social Sciences entrance examination. Now this was quite a chance factor. When BHU's Arts and Social Sciences question papers entrance examinations that happened before BHU's law faculty entrance examination. So what I realized that quite a few questions when I was preparing for arts and social sciences entrance examination, I had gone through their previous year question papers as well. So when I sat for BHU's law entrance examination, I realized that even the questions that had appeared in past year papers of arts and social sciences faculty, they too in fact had been repeated in 2018's BLAT question paper. So the basic fundamental approach that you need to take is to attempt as many as previous question paper as possible, not just of BLLB program. As when you go to their website, BHU's website, that is bhuonline.in, you'll see that you'll be confronted with all the question papers from all the programs that BHU offers. So first get done with BLLB's question papers, nearly all the right from 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. You have to attempt all those question papers, memorize their answers. Try to memorize their answers, because when you see if you see 2016 question paper and 2018 question paper, that's something that I realized that just a single year gap between the two questions paper, and still a lot of questions were repeated in 2018. So try to get through with all of BLLB's past year papers, and then venture on to Faculty of Arts and Faculty of Social Sciences questions, previous year question papers. That is first. That is they'll provide question papers only till 2000 from 2013. So don't go till 2013. That I don't feel you have that much time left on you. You have to study other things too. So try to start from 2015 and and attempt all the question papers till this year. That is till the previous year, till 2019. And even then you will even then while you attempt these categories, all the three programs, all the previous question papers of these three programs, you'll get a whiff that in fact many of the questions that appeared in other programs also got repeated in BHU law admission test. BHU law admission test. So that's a very important thing to do it to do first up. Right when the session ends, you go to BHU Online bhuonline.in and download all the question papers of BA LLB, BA Arts, and BA Social Science. And the first thing you have to do is attempt all of them. At least get through all of them at least once, and then even you will develop a certain conception about the paper as to what question paper will actually ask. So this is the primary prerequisite that you have to follow to get a whiff to at least what this question paper is all about, and you will yourself realize that BHU's law admission test doesn't require that big of an info, and the myth that you have to be good at history, civics, or any liberal arts subject is just what it is, a myth.
So, Sanket, we received a question on YouTube, and this is from Ayush. He's asking, what is the time frame we should prepare for when we are preparing for current affairs?
Okay, so with BHU, you get BHU's general knowledge section has just a small proportion of current affairs. That doesn't mean that you chalk it out completely. You have to prepare, but yes, the current affair questions are less in number. And as far as I had attempted all the papers and analyzed them and formed my own pattern of it, I realized that most of the current affairs came from the very years current news. That is to 2000. This when you give BLAT 2020, most of the current news will be of 2020 year itself. And while preparing, you do not have to, because BHU doesn't delve into the depths of the question. It's kind of if say you start reading on a particular topic, say COVID-19, then the introductory topics. I mean, when you start reading COVID-19, the introductory chapters, or perhaps the introductory questions that you get when you surf over the web, those are the questions that BHU is going to ask. It won't be going into the depth of the very concept of COVID-19, what's it all about, or the developments involved in its vaccine, what's going on, what's exactly going on. It just asks, for example, it will ask, where did it come from? Where was the first case in India? Where was the first case in India seen? Or perhaps where was the first time? Which was the first city outside China that was seen where COVID-19 was seen? So you have to take a smart approach here. First, don't for BHU law admission test exclusively. You do not have to prepare current affairs from the previous year. I mean, you have to, you do prepare, but don't go into the depths of everything. You don't delve into the intricacies of all the news. Just a rough, the coaching, if you have joined the coaching, you must have got a few modules. Just read those modules and don't venture out for some other websites or anything. Just read those modules and let them aside. And when you prepare for January, then I hope, in case you are making notes, in case you are making daily notes of current affairs, then from January you can prepare. Then from January you can prepare all the news thoroughly. Get in the intricacies, get a bit as to what exactly is happening around the world, and you will be and that will do that will do the trick for you. I mean, that even with me, my current affairs, even my knowledge of current affairs weren't that good. I hadn't prepared that well in 2008, in 2018, but I managed to fare well in current affairs, at least for BHU law admission test. So the sum and substance is prepare just the recent news. That is to say, from say Feb or March, start from there and prepare it well. And for news before that particular period of time, just go through your modules. That will be more than enough.
Sanket, there's one more thing. The medium of the paper is both Hindi and English.
Yes, the medium of the paper is both Hindi and English. Leaving out English, the section of English, of course. All other sections will be provided in Hindi as well.
So you are saying that the people who have some problem doing the English section, BHU law entrance examination is one such avenue they can look up to, because the paper is both in the medium of Hindi and English, and you told us that there is no section of English per se. Sanket. Sanket.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Sanket. So I was asking you about that the medium of the examination is both Hindi and English, and
Yes,
so you told us that there is no such section as of English in the syllabus of BHU law entrance exam.
so there is a subsection of English, just that particular section isn't translated into Hindi. All other sections are available in English as well as Hindi. And if you look at section of English, or even if you look at section of English, it's quite easy, I would say. I mean, again, BHU follows a certain pattern. You should, for English, you should prepare foreign words or legal maxims every. They ask a certain, at least 7 to 8 legal maxim or foreign words every year. So you need to prepare that. And the grammar, the grammar related questions they ask are also quite elementary. I mean, if you've been preparing for an year, it will be an absolute cakewalk. I don't feel the need to put in an extra bit of effort in the coming one for English. But still, if you feel that you aren't scoring that well in English in say your in any in mock of any given institute, then what I will advise is that go through all the previous year question paper of CLAT as well, and because again BHU also copies questions from CLAT previous year question papers, and if you're done with class question paper as well as BHU's question paper, then there's this thousand questions for of GMAT, I guess. I mean, I solved it, and I guess Harsh sir himself had advised me to solve it. I don't exactly remember, but solve those 1,000 questions of GMAT, and that will be enough for BHU. Because as I said, they just don't ask any. I mean, yeah, the section of English is quite easy. You'll get through it, and it isn't much of a fuss.
Okay, but to that end, yes, while we were preparing, while you were preparing for this examination, a lot of times I have always told kids that is one of the easiest paper, considering you are preparing for other law entrance examination, then you will consider, then you will figure it out. It is easy. Why so? Because when we look into the, especially when I look into the legal section, which says legal knowledge, the questions are primarily the same over the years about the legal maxims. The same question, which of the following is not a state under Article 12, on whose recommendation this part was added to the Constitution. More of a like, it's legal knowledge is basically some more of a questions on polity along with legal maxim. Now, Sanket, we have another question. One should prefer lower NLUs or center universities like BHU or Jamia?
According to me, to get a fair idea of what a college is like or what the law school life is like in that particular law school. It's better to ask their alumni, but still you ask whether you should go for central universities or lower NLUs, then it's just my personal opinion that you should go for central universities or any given established traditional law college. For example, just in case of BHU, it has a certain aura. For example, even last year, it was last year that 5 year law's first batch graduated, and they still grabbed some placement in some other in a few law firms. So that's the thing. Even though 5 year law is in fact new to all these traditional law colleges, given, for example, Jamia, AMU or BHU, all these law colleges have fairly new 5 year law course. But the faculties that they provide are quite established. So, and in fact, if even in case of BHU, I would say the experienced faculty is its most remarkable and valuable resource. BHU has 25 full-time professors, and that's more than any other national law university. And in BHU, their approach is heavily academic centric. So if you want to study, I mean, yes, you won't get the typical law school life that you think of in NLU. But if you want to study, if you're a hardworking student, you will turn out you will make it to your dream or whatever dream career that you want to venture on. You will easily make it through any given traditional law college, which is good. I mean, of the order of, I mean, just like BHU or Jamia. I feel these are better than going for lower NLUs.
Sanket, so now once you have told us about this particular thing, uh, how one should, what are the books one should refer while they are preparing for BLAT?
Okay, so personally, I didn't prepare from any of the books. I didn't get any of the. I guess I did have Lucent at my home, but I didn't use it for any law entrance exam. Simply because when you go through the parts of the question paper, you know there are certain set of questions that will always pop up in your in the year that you will be given the question that particular exam. So say for that matter, yes, if we say in GK, people say that a huge chunk of the GK section is comprised of history or or other static GK subjects. But when you analyze those the question papers of all of the past 5 years, you'll realize that though yes, a huge chunk of questions do come from history or other static subjects, but there are just a few given topics. For example, I would say Constitution and Indian freedom movement. These two are the only topics that BHU ask questions from. Even if you check the last year's question paper, nearly all of the static GA questions were from Indian freedom movement, and a few were from Constitution. So these are the two subjects that you need to prepare really well. In the Mughal period or perhaps ancient Indian history, these two can be just touched upon. These do not necessarily need to be delved into detail, but these just need to be touched upon. But if you prepare well these two particular topics, that is Constitution and Indian freedom movement, you'll perfectly be good to go. And yes, one important thing that helped me during my attempt at BLAT was that quite a few questions. I mean, this is quite uncharacteristic for a law entrance examination, but BLAT asks an absurdly high number of questions related to science. I mean, this is quite uncharacteristic for a law entrance examination, and for that matter, science, for that matter, biology. They ask a lot of questions from biology. So, given there's just a month and just above a month left for your entrance exam, so what I would say how to prepare is that since BLAT and even CLAT, when they ask questions related to science, those are quite stock questions. Those are questions that you will find in some any given question bank. So what I would say is that start from today, go to gktoday.com, and they have question banks of, I guess, 10 to 20 questions for all of the topics. Prepare one or attempt one of those question banks every day for the next 1 month, and this way on gktoday.com, I guess one question bank has 10 to 20 questions. Let's say 20 questions. So in a month's time, you will end up preparing 600 questions, and that, I guess, is more than enough. And in case BLAT does end up asking science questions again, questions related to science again, then if it asks, say, 10 questions, then at least I can bet on this. At least you will find at least 8 questions from those question banks itself. That's hardline certainty. It is going to happen, because I attempted all the previous year question papers at least twice, and I did realize that most of the questions were stock questions that I had seen in some other law entrance examinations question papers, or in some other question bank from, I mean, the question bank that I got from my coaching institute or from some other coaching institute. I did find those questions in those question banks itself. So I won't say to go on and prepare on length for all these topics, say for science. I wouldn't say to prepare on length for science. Just attempt those question banks and you will be good to go. That will be more than enough for you.
Okay, Sanket, is there any method of attempting this particular paper? Like which section has to be done first, which section should come after, something like that? Or is it it completely depends upon the individual who is marking the answer?
To be really honest, BHU, I mean, I don't know if it's irresponsible to say or not, but BHU does not need a particular strategy to attempt, because it provides you with 2 hours to attempt 150 questions, and I completed that question paper in one and a half hours, and I'm someone who in last year class I missed entire math section. So I'm quite slow at even my question paper attempting speed is quite slow. But even I got through the BLAT question paper in just 1.5 hours. So I don't feel there's a particular strategy. Still, if you might ask, then it's always better to follow the same strategy that you are following with CLAT, because the question paper format is somewhat the same. I mean, the previous version of CLAT. The question paper format is the same. My own strategy was to go for GK first, and then venture on to legal reasoning, the logical reasoning, the English, and the math. But I would say to follow whatever strategy you're employing for at the moment for your coaching mock. That would be just fine. I mean, what I mean to say is that you don't need an BHU exclusive strategy to attempt BHU question paper.
Sanket, on that notion, there's something more. One of the kids has asked that the mode of the exam is offline, so he's worried about when it will be conducted and etc. etc. That being said, he also asked about if he starts preparing like now, will he be able to ace this exam?
Quite easily. I mean, there's no doubt about it. BHU is the kind of exam. I mean, yes, people say that BHU's question, it's difficult to get through BHU. It's very difficult to get through BHU. But the thing is that BHU's question paper is fairly easy. So it doesn't matter if your preparation is top notch or you're just decently prepared. If your preparation is decent enough, you have a fair chance at making it to BHU Law School. Because as I said, an easy question paper is something that all coaching institutes wish to not come in CLAT. But with CLAT, it's the case that every year the question paper is fairly easy, and yes, if you start preparing today, you can easily make it through BLAT. Does that you have to put in the required effort for the coming one. And the strategy that I am telling you is first to attempt all the previous year question papers of BLAT, then venture on to subject specific topics. For example, as I said, constitution, then Indian freedom movement. Then for science, as I said, since a big chunk of questions come from science and biology for that matter, attempt those question banks and it will be fine. I mean, of course, the people who are preparing for the past 1 year do have an edge over you, but if you start preparing from today onwards and be honest in your preparation and put in the required effort, no one's stopping you from making it all the way through.
Okay, Sanket. So that being said, there's another section to this particular paper, aptitude and mental ability. So what comprises of this particular section?
See, almost the pattern is similar. The pattern of logical reasoning section in BLAT is similar to that of BLAT. And in case if you think that, I mean, I personally didn't face much problem with that. It was the same set of questions that came in CLAT, and if you have had all the past year questions of CLAT attempted, if you have attempted all the past year question papers of CLAT as well as ILET and all other universities that of NLS and NARSA and all that, then there won't be much of a fuss with logical reasoning. I mean, what I mean to say is that there isn't any exclusive questions that come in there are any questions that are exclusive to BHU. It doesn't give any it doesn't pop up the kind of any new kind of question. It will be just the same as that you get in class. The pattern is just the same as that of class.
So, Sanket, that being said, you were saying similar to CLAT, and here you mean the pattern of the CLAT, which was in the last year,
Earlier.
that is till 2019.
Yes.
Sanket, one thing more. There's one particular question. If the question paper is so easy, it must be easy for everyone, and they have just 60 seats. How to get a rank? What must be the trick? I think this is a very good question.
Yeah, so that's what I said, Nalki, that the question paper, the easy question paper that BLAT provides is what makes BLAT so difficult to get through, because everyone stands a chance. There are 16,000 people attempting, and a huge chunk of people are decently prepared, and they all have a chance to get through BLAT. So what exactly, as you asked, what's required? The thing that will give you an edge over other candidates are the past year question papers. Is to thoroughly do all those previous year question papers, to thoroughly attempt all those question papers and try to memorize the questions present in the questions that are given in, say, general knowledge section or legal reasoning section. That is a legal knowledge question. You have to memorize them, because there's a 90%, there's a 50. When you attempt a particular question, there's a 50% chance that it will end up coming in the final question paper of 2020. So, and as I said, science is what gave me an edge, because I, being a science student, I had PCMB till class 12, and I had also prepared for NEET. So this and the year that I gave BLAT, that is 2018, quite a few questions came from biology. So science is what provided me an edge. So for you, I would say just to prepare. Because most of the candidates miss out on science, because no one prepares for science as much. You've been preparing for CLAT for a year, there's a high possibility that you haven't even started science till now. So it's better to go for science. I guess that can provide you an edge. There's no particular resort that you can take to take an edge over the candidate in a question in an exam like BLAT. But still, if you ask it, go for science. I mean, very few candidates actually try to prepare thoroughly for science, and that's a subject that can give you an edge.
Okay. Now, Sanket, when you have told us about this particular particular way of approaching this particular paper. This paper is of 450 marks, 150 questions, I guess. And is there a negative marking?
Yes, there is negative marking, and it's a bit stricter than CLAT. You get 3 marks on every right answer, and you get 1 mark deducted for every wrong answer. So yes, you have to be a bit cautious with your attempt, uh, and it's difficult. And being cautious is a bit difficult with BLAT because the low difficulty with BLAT is what makes it hard for you to refrain from marking a question in a, with which an answer of which you feel is ambiguous. You aren't sure. If you aren't sure with the answer, you still end up marking in BLAT because just feel that all if say in 150 questions I've marked 135 questions, there's just 15 questions that you try to mark a few more. So you have to be smart in that because even I attempted way to make many questions in my attempt, and I had some 10 marks. I had a reduction of 10 marks due to that. But for you, still, if you're giving that, it's better to have a cautious approach while giving the question paper. But just do not, but still try to have your attempts on the higher side. If there's a 150 questions, and I'm certain that the question paper will be easy. PHU doesn't venture into making the question paper any difficult. So try to in 150 questions at least try to attempt 120 to 125. At least that leaves you with a chance. And attempt 120 to 125 questions. At the same time, be cautious. Try to not make much mistakes and lose marks in the process.
Sanket, there's another question which I think you can answer is there's one particular person by the name of Raj, and he's saying, Raj Menon, this would be my third year drop if I crack CLAT, but I am currently enrolled in first year of BLLB of Uttaranchal University. So would it be feasible to leave my college if I crack CLAT 2020?
Well, this is your third drop. And if you're giving CLAT and you're preparing well, and if you make it to at least, if you make it up in the top 5 universities, then it's a no-brainer. You should leave the college that you're studying and move on to and move to the college that you're being allotted through CLAT. But in case you're getting a mid-tier NLU, then that's a personal choice. I mean, for me, I didn't join. I left PHU because I work from Varanasi itself, and I believe in for being a lawyer, you have to have a better complete overall of personality. You have to build a particular kind of personality. And since I was in Varanasi itself, so I wasn't allotted a hostel in BHU. So I had to. So my campus life didn't account for much. All my days. I mean, my routine involved waking up at 8, going to college on my scooty and coming back by 4. So it doesn't. That was a big reason this played a big reason in me attempting CLAT again. As per you, you have in case you make it a top 5 college, top 5 NNDs, then make your move from Uttaranchal University to an NND. But in case you get a mid-tier college, then you have to think about it. I mean, yes, there are quite an NLU has its fair share of advantages during internships and placements, but in your case, I would say to make the move because I don't know how that particular college. If you're studying in Uttaranchal University, you can judge it better. So if you think that your university isn't able to provide you with all the resources, if it isn't able to provide you all the resources, you feel the peer groups, or perhaps you are way too big, and you genuinely feel that you deserve a better university, you feel that you need better peer groups to compete against, then I would say to make the move. If you prepare for PLAT well, and if you make to a decent enough interview, your drops won't matter. It doesn't matter if you have 3 drops or 4 drops. It doesn't matter you've joined college. Everybody is the same. It doesn't matter if you're 25-year-old or 26-year-old. If you're in a particular batch. You have a certain section of batchmates, and no, you won't face much of a problem if you're thinking that you become an outcast over there for taking a theater. That just won't happen.
Okay, Sanket, now on to this particular point. They raise this particular question now. A few of the kids have asked.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you going to college to BHU. I've seen you preparing for your exams, and all I was asking you to be more serious towards CLAT preparation. But you had a point that you need to give this exams as well, and you need to prepare as well. Sometimes you were late to the sessions as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that being said, a few of the kids have this particular notion that they want to ask you, why did you made a switch from BHU to RML? Although I know this is very personal to everyone, it can be for any reason X Y Z. But a lot of kids are asking. I believe that they will be giving the CLAT exam too, and they are hoping that they will clear it and they will reach to a national law university. And in this particular situation, they will be in your situation. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what was that which made you take this particular call, or it was just NLU calling?
See, the prerequisite for moving to RML was to start preparing for CLAT 2019, and my reason was simple that when I gave CLAT 2018, I faced technical issues, as everyone must be acquainted with the fact that CLAT 2018 was utter disaster. So I faced technical issues, and I missed out on around 40 questions. And by missed out, I mean I couldn't even see what those questions were all about. So when I got my result, I scored 110. So at that very moment, I realized that had that technical difficulty not happened, I would have easily made it to a decent enough energy. So that was the push that I needed to prepare again. And making a move from BHU to RML, well, that is the biggest reason has to be that I didn't have. I had. I mean, I don't know if this sounds like an absurd reason or not, but I didn't. I wasn't allotted a hostel in BHU, and that was and the reason being that I was from Varanasi itself. So and but this particular I do not want to give us this conception that BHU wasn't good enough for me. BHU is in fact a decent enough college to join. I mean, when I was there, there were I believe when I was over there, then yes, there were quite a few problems. I said there were no student-run committees, and I've heard that recently. I've heard that quite a few developments took place in this particular year itself. I mean, there protests happened back in November, and there are many positive developments that took place there. So that is some student-run committees have come up, and library timings have been increased. So yes, it's becoming more. The BHU is trying to become more and more NLU-like. So that things do look positive for it. But me making a move from BHU to RML, that was, yes, as Harsha said, that was quite personal to me. I had my personal reasons, and the biggest one was that I wasn't allotted a hostel. I needed a hostel. I needed a lot. I wanted to taste what a college life feels like.
Okay, Sanket, I think that answers to three or four questions which were with respect to the same particular notion. Sanket, now that you have cleared us about the sections which are asked, the how to go about with the preparation, how to attempt this paper. Is there any what is this what happens after you crack this particular paper? You get a rank, and what happens after that? Is there
So
counseling or something like that?
yeah, you're called for counselor. So when the results are announced, you get your rank, and in case you fall into the top 150 of the rank holders for general category, that is, you're called for counseling. And the people who come for counseling, the top 28, I guess. I mean, when I made it to law school BHU, there were 28 seats for general category. I don't know what's the situation right now. If the seats have been increased or not, I guess you should rather ask someone who's studying in BHU at the moment. But when I was there, the year that I took admission in, there were 28 seats, and top 150 candidates were called for counseling, and those who turned up, among them the top 28 were chosen to join the law school.
Okay, Sanket. That is all. If somebody has any question, you can write in the chat box. If it is related to BHU, law entrance examination per se. So we have received some very fun-based questions also during this particular session. The first and foremost, the fun being somebody asking, somebody saying on why you want to become a lawyer. So that in that notion, they should actually watch another video which talks about career in law. There's one particular kid who is asking, where did you had your lunch in the college? Because there is a food is a serious problem at BHU. I believe that is also not a question for the law. You're preparing for law.
Just for that matter, food is not a problem at BHU. They get some pretty good food in the mess.
Yeah. So that being said, you can personally connect to Sanket and he will let you know. But that was a pretty amazing session, Sanket, and you answered all the relevant questions which were to the BHU law entrance examination. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure with being part of Lawsikho session. I was really looking forward. I mean, you approached me a week back, and I was quite anxious if I should take this webinar or not. But yeah, I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah, so that is what I told you, because somebody who has cleared this exam and who went to that particular university, who has lived that particular part, will be in a better situation to guide the aspirants. Thank you so much, Sanket, for being with us.
Thanks a lot.